Space, the final frontier. Well, okay, not really. All right, take two. Here in the Mitten State, welcome to Code 47, bringing you all things Star Trek, spanning the quadrants, the best thing since the neutral zone.
Back again on the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. This is Code 47, episode 103. I am your humble host, Trek Lord of West Michigan, Charlie Carden, coming at you to talk about some Star Trek. I am joined, as always, by my faithful companions. All the way to my left, to my extreme left, would be the fantastic Kay. How are you? We've missed you.
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Oh, excellent. And then my partner in crime, who's going to stick with me for this entire episode, because we're going to talk about Kay's absolutely least favorite Star Trek. That would be Enterprise in the second half of this deal. That would be Missy Merchant. Missy, how are you?
I'm great. Glad to be back as always.
Excellent. Absolutely. And extra special guest for the first part of the show is the Xbox One extension. Oh, damn it. Luke, I got it wrong. This is Luke Lohr.
Xbox expansion pass.
Thank you so much. I just, extra's good at this kind of stuff. But no, Luke is back with us. And Luke, it's funny. We were talking about man, I know you were on before, but then, woo! It doesn't matter. You know what? Because we just moved forward. But yeah, how are you, my friend? Thank you for joining us. Talk about Strange New Worlds.
Oh, I am ecstatic to be here. I love Star Trek, and my schedule is not always allowing me to do so. So I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to talk about Strange New Worlds. Yes.
That's great. Well, we've after episode 100, we've had a little bit of expansion in our stable of co-hosts, and I have one chat with everybody when I say who's available at this date and this time, and someone will say me, not me, and so you're going to see a combination of Kay and Missy, Jen, Peter, and maybe even Luke sometimes if he's so inclined, and it might be for half the show, it might be for all the show, but you're getting a fair combination of some totally awesome voices. So, well, cool. Well, we have a kind of a good news, bad news thing. Excuse me, don't put the cart before the horse. We have news in so much that it's a good news, bad news thing. So our extremely bad news came yesterday. And Todd and I were talking about this on SFU Prime, which you'll hear tomorrow if you're listening to this on Monday when this drops. But Star Trek Prodigy has been canceled by Paramount Plus. Seasons 1 and the now nearly completed season 2 are being shopped around to other networks. This was an atomic bomb that was dropped on fandom yesterday. I was right along there with the crowd that took to Twitter, that took to other social medias to protest this. The show was canceled along with a program called Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, which April and I watched an episode of, and we were like, meh. And a program called Queen of the Universe, a competition series, Queen of the Universe. I think that's a RuPaul, isn't it? I feel like I heard RuPaul's name thrown out there somewhere. Nobody? Crickets?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. I don't know either. But yeah, Paramount Plus is jumping on the bandwagon with Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery and having fun with taking tax write-offs for underperforming series. So, I mean, the obvious component of it is that none of us are happy about this. We all love it. I'm doing some solidarity wearing my Prodigy badge today. But guys, I won't say how we're feeling, but tell me what we're thinking. Kay.
Well, I mean, y'all, if you've heard my thoughts about Prodigy, it wasn't my favorite show. I was appreciating where it was going. The characters were getting better. But I think it's more indicative of the problem that streaming services are having, where they're expecting a huge rush of fandom immediately right off the bat.
Like regular ratings back in the old days, right?
And I have a feeling if Parks and Rec was done today, it wouldn't have made it past its first season. The Office might have not made it past its first season. You have all of these shows that go for 7, 8 seasons, and it wasn't something where the first and second season had a huge following, but it gets picked up as word of mouth, especially because they're not doing a lot of, promotional materials. They're expecting word of mouth to catch forward. Right. And so few shows end up having a Stranger Things or Game of Thrones level receiver to them.
That lightning in the bottle, yeah.
Yeah, and so I just feel like they're just expecting everything to be a blockbuster, and if it's not, they're like, we don't need it then. And all you're doing is pissing off the people. Yeah, and so then they end up embittered, and they might cancel their service because they're like, why bother? Like, there's a lot of them. I don't start watching a show until the second season is confirmed.
Right. Because it's the same thing. I mean, I'll be on SFU with Oxford, and he'll be like, "Oh, there's this new season of blah blah. This new show is this thing or that thing," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, you know what? Let them get some episodes under the belt, and then let me hear about the buzz. And if I hear about the buzz, maybe I'll check it out." So, Luke, what about you?
I'm bummed because Prodigy was built to bring in Star Trek fans, younger Star Trek fans, and while Prodigy was never for me, it's a loss because that has been something that I think Star Trek in general has struggled with, which is bringing in younger audiences. And I have teacher friends who would put that on during lunch. They would have that, for kids to see, to realize that Star Trek has something for them. And that was the best part about Prodigy. Its storyline allowed for young people to get into it. And there are some unresolved storylines in there. At least I don't know if are they finishing season 2?
Well, that's the buzz, but again, this is news from yesterday. And again, I just have this feeling, and Todd and I did not agree about this when we were recording, that the outpouring of vitriol in the direction of Paramount may cause some action, but the biggest part of it, much to Kay's point, is that if this was canceled because it's an underperforming program, who are they shopping it to? Who's going to pick this up? Who's left? To pick this up.
What were your expectations of an underperforming children's show on a niche streaming service, in a market that hasn't marketed to kids before? Like, the expectations need to be just in order for it to reach certain milestones. And I don't feel like it was there for Prodigy, and that stinks.
Absolutely.
Well, and that's like to, zoom out a little bit. That's part of what's going on with the writer's strike right now, is that they want transparency on how shows are performing, because these streaming services keep it so close to the chest that for all we know, Prodigy was amazing, but they're just canceling it because they're like, we don't want to do it anymore. And, we have the numbers to back up that it was actually really, really successful, so we can sell it off.
Right.
But, because we literally have no idea.
Right. Find somebody to buy. Missy, you have not had your chime in, so chime in, please.
And just to jump in off of Kay, with the writer's strike, it's also a perfect opportunity for them to say, if we don't want to finish it, we don't have to pay out for it. We can outsource it as is.
Yeah,
exactly.
Ugh. Yuck.
It was also not my favorite Star Trek, but I feel the loss again for the next generation to kind of usher in some kids to Star Trek. Even when we're working the conventions, people come over with kids. We're like, hey, have you heard of Prodigy? It's a really great way to introduce your kids to it. And even in the meantime, until it's getting shopped out, if anybody picks it up, somebody's like, hey, where do I watch that? We're going to be like, don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we worked a show last summer in Grand Haven that was an anime show where we showed that entire series because it was perfect fit. And then we did a panel. A couple of April and Lori, who's number one of our crew members, did a panel about animation, and Prodigy was the feature. And now, for all intents and purposes, it's being erased from canon because it could essentially go into non-existence. In the meantime, the first 10 episodes are available for purchase on hard copy. They're selling out everywhere. I did read that as a headline this morning. So if you go to Amazon or Walmart or wherever, selling out. I jumped on Fandango Voodoo and snagged it. So I own the first 10 episodes. So I guess those still exist, but this is a bad situation. We'll continue to update on this, certainly by the next time we do another episode if there's more news. So, okay. Let's at least move on to some happy news before we jump into talking about Strange New Worlds. Okay, when April and I were on the cruise several months ago, Andrew Robinson, the actor who played Garrick, was a featured guest on the cruise, and he had a panel where he read excerpts from his 1999 novel, A Stitch in Time, which came out mere months after the end of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Garrick, of course, the simple tailor, one of the very favorite members of the DS9 supporting cast. He popped up there, read a beautiful excerpt from the book, which I don't know that I've read it. I went ahead and purchased it, but I'm so bad at reading stuff. I have not touched it. Has anybody here read this book?
have not.
No, because you told me that there was an audiobook coming out. So I was like, why would I read it when he could read it to me?
And I was right, because that's exactly what is happening. We did get word, Andy did mention that he was hoping, and he probably had it in the bag, but he was trying to create a little bit of suspense, that this is coming out. So I'm looking for a date, August 1st. I already have it pre-ordered through, because you can do that through Audible, which is through Amazon. Another evil empire is where you can snag that. So I've got that. And yeah, please go out and buy it yourself, and if you don't buy it yourself, let me know, and maybe I'll share my password with you. Maybe I won't. We'll see what happens. But I'm very excited to see this happen. What he read to us was absolutely terrific. And who the hell doesn't like Garak? You know what I'm saying?
He is literally the best character on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And one of the characters that I think helped elevate Star Trek overall, because he brought complexity and lore that introduced kind of the spy aspect, that introduced kind of shadow organizations within Star Trek. But because prior to Garak, we didn't have very many allusions to shadow organizations in Next Gen at all. Much less Voyager and whatnot. So like, it was kind of cool to think that, oh wait, there are governments, and then there are shadow governments. There are people, renegades within each of these. And that's what DS9 did for Star Trek in general, which was add layers. And then we've seen Section 31 kind of parlay out from, I think, the origins of what Garak was. That's when they found that they had an audience for that.
Right.
Track.
The cloak and dagger stuff. Yeah,
so
exactly.
You say, Commander.
Yes, indeed. Very good. Well, cool. Well, I look forward to this, and if we all end up listening to it, perhaps we'll do a little micro review on it once we get into August after Vegas, because 3 of us will be at Vegas. Luke, I mean, it's probably not your bailiwick, but maybe someday. Yeah, no, I'm excited. April and I are doing a drive out there. It's Kay's first time out there. Missy is a veteran. She's been there a gazillion times, so really very excited to have that. Actually, gosh, April and I can listen to it on the way out, because it comes out on the 1st, and we'll be driving. So very exciting. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the meat. Talking about the return of Strange New Worlds, season 2 coming out a little over a year after the release of season 1. I've mentioned, several times that I was fortunate enough, working my connections through Kurt, who's a journalist friend of mine, that I got a screener with the first 6 episodes. So I had previously seen these about 2 weeks ago. I went back and watched them again today, and I just continue to be blown away. This season is just going to annihilate everybody's brain. Oh my God. Kay, if you would be so kind to do the honors to read us about episode 1, The Broken Circle.
Yes, we have episode 1, The Broken Circle. A distress call from Lieutenant Noonien Singh compels Spock to disobey orders and take the USS Enterprise and its crew to a disputed space, risking renewed hostilities with the Klingons in a bid to aid their shipmate. And I thought this was just a great way to start off the season. It was just absolutely fantastic. And I found out later that the reason why Pike was just not in it was because Anson's wife had actually just had a baby.
Oh, I heard that was happening.
Yeah, they planned, 9 months in advance that he just would not be in this first episode. So they specifically wrote it to just focus on the rest of the crew.
It's the reverse of what happens when there's back in the old days when there was a pregnant female cast member or whatever it is, to be like, oh, she's off visiting. They did that on Family Ties. Oh, mom is off visiting relatives in Michigan or something. So it was the same exact stuff. Yeah.
So, but I thought it was a really great way to kind of bring part of the cast together, because obviously La'an had left partway through season 1, so we weren't really sure when she was going to come back. I was really excited to see her right back in the first episode, and I thought they did a really great job of balancing the humor and kind of lightheartedness that you can get with Star Trek, along with the seriousness of it, and that there were real stakes involved. And then we got a look at our new chief engineer, which was
I love her.
Oh my God.
Oh man, she is so great.
Comedy legend Carol King. I was going to say Carol King. No, she was not singing The Earth Moves Under My Feet. But oh my God, yes. She's the and same job. She's the Tig Notaro of this show. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she plays Commander Pella.
Yeah.
I believe. And I found out Pella, she came up with the accent. She decided that she was going to do that, and they were just like, sure, go for it. And I think she's a really great kind of switch from Hemmer, because obviously Hemmer was great. Everybody loved him. Yep. But I was really afraid that we just get like a new stoic kind of grumpy engineer. And it's very obvious that's not who she is. Yeah. So I'm excited to see, like, I could see her pulling pranks in the future and just fucking around with people. And I am 100% here for it.
Oh my gosh.
All there to see how she interacts with Spock. That is going to be, I think, going to be bring a number of highlights. Kind of how Neelix would mess with Tuvok.
Oh god,
I think that Pelia is going to mess with Spock quite a bit.
Yes, I think this is going to be like a Bones type of, Spock type of deal.
Oh my goodness!
What was cool was that she's older.
Yeah,
I was surprised by that.
Like Guinan, yeah.
But no, I mean, like the actor is older as well. Like the appearance is older. I was curious. I thought we'd get kind of like a 40-year-old actor to play kind of within the cast, because it's such a young cast, I feel.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a nice foil for Spock, but also it might be a voice of guidance similar to Guinan for Anson Mount Pike to go to.
Yeah.
I think that'll be really cool to see.
I'm excited for them to finally meet up.
Yeah, most def. All right,
I don't know if he actually knows he has a chief engineer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. I've been away. Who's working here now? I don't know. Who's on first?
Spock, you hired someone?
Yeah, exactly.
I told you just to keep it in the space dock.
Yeah, I had to take over as HR. Oh, Spock HR. There we go. That's the second HR title we've had as a. Didn't we have like a Borg HR was the most recent one? One of the more recent ones. Anyway, Missy, your thoughts, please.
Just to say, I'm not sure he actually hired her so much as she hired herself, which is even better. Yeah. She's like, basically, I'm here. I have nothing to do. I don't teach anymore, so deal with it.
So she's a self-hire. I like that better. Self-hire.
Yeah. I mean, she's got the rank. I really like this episode because of pulling in more of Spock's human side, doing more of like the more reactional or emotional side, and I think it's really going to play out a lot more in season 2.
Oh, you have no idea.
Things that are stop it, Charlie.
I'm sorry. I can't. Oh, I'm just busting. The Paramount people would beat me with a lash if I said any more.
But just to be able to see that progression, because they touched on it a little bit in season 1, but it was always kind of more punitive, like, whoa, that's your human side, like, whoa, what are you doing there? Oh. To now I feel like it's going to be like, okay, this worked out really well, let's see what we can do with it.
It's good stuff. I love it. So yeah, it was a great start off. Now, Missy, I know you had a particular hang up about a little potential Discovery callback, But yeah, because it was Lieutenant Mitchell, who is the young Asian woman who sits at Nav, said, I think that's a Crossfield class later in the episode when you have basically a Trojan horse, a captured Starfleet vessel that the Klingons are going to do a false flag to attack another Klingon ship to reignite this war. And they fly out a ship that has some bearing of kind of looking like that series of design. But again, if you want to cut her some slack, you could simply say that, hey, she didn't get a good look at it. Maybe the nacelles looked, maybe the saucer looked alike somehow. I don't know. It was a real misnomer.
Pretty piecemeal.
Yeah, you're right. It could be just that. So, but yeah, this was great. We got traditional Klingons back. I say traditional post 1979.
Absolutely the right choice.
Yeah.
Absolutely the right choice for all the reasons, because they explained one element of continuity error when they did the eugenics, but the Discovery Klingons were such an outlier and odd. And here we had Klingons that not only looked the part of traditional Klingons, but they acted the part.
That was pretty key.
They were laughing. They were honorable. They were violent. They were silly.
Right.
There was no prune juice, stoic. No, they were having fun being Klingons as well as being badass. And that is such a refreshing take on it. And kind of a neat little callback also with the Klingons on this planet where they're mining the dilithium. They're doing like cloak and dagger stuff, very Romulan behavior.
Yeah.
And nobody, you know what I mean? Like, nobody kind of alludes to it because they don't know better at this point in the continuity. But like, the Klingons have always been up to shady stuff, always doing that. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing that I think went unsaid by at least the community, the Trek community that I saw.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Good deal. Yeah. So definitely a killer start out. So, okay. I will, any other thoughts before we move on? We're good.
Great
cool.
Episode. Great
episode.
Kay and I have all the thoughts about episode 2. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wrapped this up literally before we came in here doing a research. So I'll read this one. Season 2, episode 2 is Ad Astra per Aspera. Commander Una Chin Riley faces court-martial along with possible imprisonment and dishonorable dismissal from Starfleet, and her defense is in the hands of a lawyer who's also a childhood friend with whom she had a terrible falling out. I'm going to let Missy start this time.
Okay, wow. All of the feels for this one. Kay and I have already processed it out a little bit, but this is Strange New Worlds equivalent, but we feel, or at least I'll speak for myself, one up from Measure of a Man.
Yeah, our top contender when we did our bracketology, it won. It won out of 45 episodes, Luke. It was our number one choice of all of Trek.
Wow.
But if it came down to Measure of a Man or this, I would have to vote this.
Me too. Well, me too, believe it or not. Yeah.
Because with Measure of a Man, yes, you get to talk about, what is humanity, but this examines what we actually have for humanity now with all of the humanoids and all the real world issues, what LGBTQ people have to face, when they're talking about, I had to hide what I really was inside because people wouldn't accept it and I would be persecuted for it. I mean, how do you not love that as a social commentary?
Oh my God! Well, which is of course the bedrock that all Star Trek is based upon. Exactly. So, oh man. Well, I know. Kay's chomping at the bit. We'll go back to our guest though. Luke, where are you at with this one?
So I thought in complimenting episode 1, the 2 episodes together encompass the best of Trek, because in the beginning, in episode 1, you had, this renegade search for Spock-esque, no, we're leaving to go do the right thing because it's the right thing. And then the second one, you've got a courtroom drama, and a lot of great Trek happens in a courtroom where you're doing the right thing because it's the right thing. And you're exploring what the right thing means in both episodes.
Yeah.
I found episode 2 a little slow at first, but then once it rounds into its third act, it all comes together in such a way that you can rewatch the episode and just love it. I thought the payoff was just worth it. It was great to see. I almost said Archer. It was great to see Pike out there fighting for his people yet again. The revelations that took place. We're talking spoilers. Yes.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, okay.
Always.
Yeah. The revelations that she turned herself in, and the brilliant courtroom tactics by her ex, but now again friend, really well done. And I thought the investment of the crew in Una's fate really showcased them at their best. We love her for who she is, what she's fighting for. She's a good officer, a good person. She's doing the right thing. And so the 2 episodes together, I think, encompass the best of what Star Trek is. And I really enjoyed that. The one thing I was left wondering at the end was the Vulcan prosecutor. What was his beef? Does that get explained? Did I miss it?
The only thing that I could speak of is when Ortega's was in the break room cafeteria and they were watching his exchange with Spock, and Spock apologized, sorry you had to see that outburst.
Where he stood up and walked away somewhat haughtily. Oh, well, I'm so sorry.
He had mentioned that it was somebody.
He was one of Sarek's friends. Yeah,
it was one of Sarek's friends, and he said it was his least favorite. So I imagine there's some background bad blood there.
Yeah, bad blood. Bad green blood. Ooh, bad green blood. Oh, there we go. Oh, now I got a name. Oh my gosh. All right. Kay, please.
Yeah, just echoing everything that everyone has said. I agree with Missy. I do think this one tops A Measure of a Man, not because of anything against Measure of a Man. Again, that was an amazing episode, but this episode really spoke more to a critique of our society as of right now. Even watching it, it was really heartbreaking to see the celebration of Una and Nira and saying, this is a first step. We're going to get justice for the Illyrians. We're going to be changing these laws. And we know full well that 100 years later, nothing really changes. And that, Bashir is still having the same issues and having to face the same challenges when he was, genetically modified against his will and nearly kicked out of Starfleet. Yeah. Right. And again, though, that just reflects the same kind of things and the same kind of struggles that we go through as a society, where, like, yes, we had the emancipation of slavery. That didn't mean that, Black individuals were suddenly equal. Like, we still have to go through the civil rights movement. We're still going through
100 years
now.
later. Yeah. And 60 years after that. Yeah. We're still struggling, and through a whole new civil rights movement for the LGBTQ community, which, how much long do we have? Another 60 years of that? Let's hope it's only 60 years, you know what I mean? Or less, of course. So yeah, we plod as a society to move forward, but yeah, it's a great example. And that was one that Todd said, like, how does she just get to go back to her job? Well, okay, that's a little suspension of disbelief, but they did it to Data. They did it to Bashir. Bashir, right. If you remember the end of that episode, it was called Dr. Bashir, I presume, where Louis Zimmerman, who was, of course, Robert Picardo, the creator of the EMH, was working on creating a long-term medical hologram. Bashir was to be the template. And through his research, he uncovered, he brought his parents to the station and uncovered the fact that he was genetically engineered. And then they had to go through stand in front of a tribunal of a Starfleet admiral who said, we made a deal and your dad goes to prison, but you get to keep your medical practice. So it's kind of a weird, like, that's Federation law, I guess, whatever.
Honestly, but I think the one with Una worked more concisely, just because there was a very clear-cut law of she applied for asylum, which is what she is seeking now. And so as someone who applied for asylum, that means that, they cannot hold her genetic modifications against her, which means that she can be reinstated into her previous role.
Agreed. They exploited a loophole as opposed to changing their minds on their wrongness.
Right. Yeah.
Federation didn't backtrack or they and a loophole was executed too. The majority of the courtroom was very pleased that a loophole was found, it seems, but there was no seeming effort to fix the wrong, or probably right the wrong of, the aliens not being allowed to participate in Starfleet. And I thought it was clever and great writing.
Yeah.
But
it
continuously shows that Utopia failed.
Yeah. This resonates with me. This is the randomness that is my brain. In the movie Dirty Dancing, at the end of it, where, nobody puts baby in a corner, Patrick Swayze comes in and they're doing their dance, whatever. And Jerry Orbach, whose baby's dad, comes up and says, I know it wasn't you with Penny, the girl who got pregnant. And there was where he says, when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. And then I always say at that moment, but I'm not saying that now. You know what I mean? So yeah, exactly. There's a preponderance of me being wrong, but that's not what I'm saying. So yeah, we can only go so far. So you're right. It echoes the glacial pace placed by we as humankind really move things forward. So a very, very important episode. So no doubt about it. So cool. Other thoughts? Has everybody put their coins on the table? Are we good? Oh yes, please.
I want to make 2 points. The actor who played Nira, I think her name is Yatide. Just phenomenal. I mean, because she had a lot of speeches to go through, and
heavy
that can
lifting.
That can come off, especially in a courtroom drama, can come off real cheesy, real fast, or real hokey. And she just devoured it.
Oh my god!
It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, and then when Pike hugged Una, and there was that moment of him looking like it was that moment of dad panic where he finally acknowledged for a moment, like, I could have lost her and everything. And then he's like, oh my gosh. And then he's like, nope, gotta keep it together. It was just peak acting, which is wonderful. I love their relationship. And it's
I rolled my tears up at that one too, and it's great to see. And Kay, I know you've commented on this in other relationships in Star Trek. It's great to see that it's a man and a woman, and we don't have to make it romantic. It's just there's nothing. They are two competent. They're best friends. They're best friends, and it has nothing to do with their sex. And it's just I love it. I absolutely love it. Awesome, Luke.
I loved La'an's the way that she was asked to investigate and look into things, and Uhura stopped her.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's your mentor, you're mine. No.
Yeah.
Love that moment. Love
growth.
La'an. Yeah. And La'an had to consider why she was mad, why she was angry. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I do not understand Star Trek's insistence for Gilbert and Sullivan references. I don't get it.
I am the very model of a modern major general.
Did you see the shorts?
No.
Oh, there is a short where they did like the logs. Yeah, the short tracks where Una and Spock get trapped in an elevator.
Yep.
They end up singing that song together.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Okay,
and then yes, it comes back in Insurrection with Picard and Data singing in the shuttlecrafts, and that's how they capture him because he's malfunctioning.
One more thing we didn't say before episode 1. I would like the ship to go. I love that moment. It's so good.
Well, or even the fact that they were then talking almost like X or something. Well, my previous captain liked to say Zoom. Like
right.
all of these really like kind of absurd things that people
exactly.
do.
Yeah. Could you keep a straight face sitting on a bridge where a captain says up and away, or go now, hit it, punch it, blah blah blah. I don't know. We all as three of us here are Star Trek cosplayers. I guess we all have to come up with our own catchphrase for making the ship go. So think on it, Luke. I don't know that you're a cosplayer, but even if you're not, think about it as a captain. We'll see what we can get going for you. So, well, cool. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. You guys, this was awesome. Luke and Kay are going to be leaving us, and Missy and I are going to be continuing to talk about Enterprise. Luke, where do people find you out there on the internet, please?
If you're so inclined to explore the video game verse, I host a podcast called the Xbox Expansion Pass, and you can find me on all your podcast services with XEP, and then on Twitter at Insipid Ghost.
Awesome. And Kay, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Quintessential Geek, or QT Geek, excuse me. It's Q_T Geek. And then on, did I say that was Twitter? Now I lost track. Okay, that's Twitter. And then Instagram is K Photoscape.
Very nice. And I am a moron because I forgot to pay homage to our wonderful patrons, one of whom happens to be sitting on this program right now. The folks over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite who make it possible for Todd Oxford, myself, and Mark Carabin, and a lot of the other people you see on all of these recordings to make fun bonus content are individuals like Missy Merchant, the fantastic Nias family, that would be Sean, Stella, and Henry, Andy Milliken, and Jamie Prinky. We are very glad to have you. Thank you for giving us three nerds the chance to do that voodoo that we hopefully do so well. All right, gang. Brief pause for station identification, but Luke and Kate, we will see you back here very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank
All right, we're back. Thanks to Kay and Luke for joining us for part 1. So it's back to Missy and myself. We are starting a new show this week. Missy, it's interesting. I was noting that the last time we were talking about Star Trek Enterprise, I was watching episodes when I was up north, actually in your neck of the woods, exactly a year ago. I was watching several of these episodes in a hotel room in fabulous Sheboygan, Michigan. Oh, you know the exact scuzzy hotel I was staying in. It was the only one I could find, but I always travel with the Roku, and then with a non-ancient television, I can plug it in the back, so I don't have to watch basic cable and one channel of HBO. But anyway, we're back with Enterprise. This is season 3, which aired in the 2003 and 2004 television season. We're picking up from the end of season 2, obviously, where there was the Xindi attack, which was a not so subtle parallel to the 9/11 attacks that happened in this country just a year prior, or not even a year prior, just 9 months prior to when that episode aired, where this race from who knows where had a destructive probe that popped out of subspace and shot a laser beam at Earth that cut from Florida to Venezuela and killed 7 million people on Earth. And so, Archer and the Enterprise came back. They muscled up. They picked up some Makos, or the Marines, basically the Space Marines, and then they shot off into this area of space known as the Expanse. That was before that show that was on that Oxford is not successful in making me watch, where they launched it. They needed to find out what was going on. So in this first chunk of the season, we learn immediately all about these Xindi. They are one of the first multi-species race, I guess is the best way to say it, because Xindis are split into, now Missy, make sure I don't miss any. We have Xindi insectoids and reptilians, which are kind of the more malevolent. We have the Xindi aquatics, which are literally just sea creatures that exist in a little sea tank, because you see all of this in the in their little council chamber. There's a little window where there's a little fishy guy swimming around and going, and then, thank God we have captions. There's Xindi primates, which are basically kind of monkey looking kind of fellas. And there are Xindi humanoids, for lack of a better expression, which is actor Randy Oglesby is the main guy, and he's an old Star Trek guy. So that's who we meet in this first episode. But anyway, not to put the cart before the horse, I will jump in with episode 1 of the season is simply called The Xindi, directed by Alan Croker, who I listen to. If you listen to the Delta Flyers, where you hear Robbie and Garrett talking about it, big stalwart of Star Trek Voyager as far as a director. This is a Berman and Braga, so this is written by the series creators. So ostensibly right on the money. From September of 2003, Archer and Reed in The Expanse visit a mining facility in order to track down a Xindi. So, all right, let's get it started. How do we feel about this as a season premiere?
Not my favorite season premiere of all the Star Treks. For the lead-in for the season arc, I think they did a decent job with it. And before I get too carried away, there was also the 6th Xindi species that's now extinct with the avians.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Which we do find evidence of it at a later point. Yeah, so that's a little further down the road. And they're fighting. Yeah, and their planet itself, Xindis, is an asteroid field. They fought long enough, if I'm remembering, because again, I have not watched forward. I know that you recently finished the season, but I've not done a full rewatch of the season in a couple of years. So I'm in some ways watching it as, from somewhat untrained eyes. But yeah, it was warring between the species that destroyed their own planet, and then they fell in with the true villains of the season, which we don't necessarily need to spoil, but the sphere builders, which we learned a little bit more about in this group of episodes. So gratuitous near nudity alert, the Vulcan Nero pressure. So we had big complaints, and Kay was certainly a part of it, because we did get her to watch 1 or 2 episodes, including the series pilot Broken Bow, where much like you and I miss on the Facts of Geek Life, one of our Patreon shows, talking about Scott Bakula, and in the first there were 9 episodes in the first season of Quantum Leap. He's shirtless or naked in all of them. So in this, we get Trip shirtless. You get T'Pol shirtless, but doing this modesty, holding her hands over her breasts. So I'm like, well, okay, it's network TV. But, oh my God. Fine. I mean, it's not without its merits, because obviously it's going somewhere. They're they're building this will they, won't they, between slow burn, 2 characters that you never really thought were going to get along anyway. So yeah, that's the B story, because Trip is, he's stressed out, he can't sleep. And so, Phlox is not able to, successfully treat him with medication. So talks him into, basically sets this up, and you kind of can figure out where this is going from there. So, some pretty exciting action sequences in the mining complex, where this terrible mining foreman introduces them to a Xindi prisoner who is a miner there, and then they have to do this kind of daring escape where they have to climb through this plasma tunnel, and they escape at the last minute. His plasma shooting up, and so and they have to wade through what was the line, like a sewage refuge takes on a whole new meaning when it's from 6 different species. But yeah, the thing they're going through, this sewer that they're going through, is glowing yellow and green. I mean, I've never been in a sewer, but I thought it was usually pretty monocolored. I thought it was pretty much just brown. I don't know. But
have you seen aliens before? I mean, we don't know what they excrete.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they might be. It might be all goo all the time. So, anyway, yeah, cool, fun, daring sequence of escape. Really gratuitous partial nudity. For the like, ooh, it's boobies. I mean, it was just basically what it felt like that they were showing off. So, but anyway, okay. So then we jump into episode 2. Take it away.
Oh, hang on. I have my notes. Hang on.
Not prepared. Demerits. That's okay. You get a pass because you pay the bills.
All right. So season 2, episode 2, Anomaly, by Dave Strayton and Mike Sisman. September 17th, 2003, we see the crew of the Enterprise encountering the Delphic Expanse firsthand and deal with pirates operating from a giant cloaked alien sphere.
Schwa, schwa, schwa.
Yeah, so I mean, I like this. I think it, again, not one of my favorite episodes of the season. I feel like it's one that, if you take out the external aspect of the pirates, Yeah, they learn a little bit about the Xindi when Hoshi's able to kind of go through their ship's database.
Yeah.
And extract 80-90% of their information. That could have really come from anywhere. It didn't necessarily have to come from a pirate ship that's been just kind of hanging out in space.
Arr, pirate ship.
I do like the main bridge crew character development in it, specifically with T'Pol and Trip, not necessarily even as their budding relationship, but both with Trip and his PTSD and how it's becoming more apparent and he's not able to kind of cloak it anymore.
Yeah.
And then also with DePaul, at this point, she's had a little bit of not necessarily direct exposure, but indirect exposure to the Trillium. So it's
Trillium D.
Kind of starting to seep into her system, and you can see some changes on the horizon for her.
Right, exactly. So it's funny. This had two tropes of not only Star Trek in general, but this show in particular. You have the final act big shootout where there's a bunch of explosions on the bridge, and then they get away at the last minute. That happens a lot, and it happened a lot on Voyager as well. But you had the somewhat manufactured. Archer had the one pirate in jail, and then he's like, "I'm going to throw him out an airlock," and the guy's like, "You won't do that because even though he doesn't know Starfleet, you seem far too decent to throw me out the airlock, Captain." It's like, ooh, it's just very manufactured. And I didn't care for that. And again, the whole real downfall of Enterprise as a show is that, we're horning in on over 15 years of continuous Star Trek, and too many of the beats, repeating them was unavoidable because there's only so many cats in the bag of tricks. Cats in the bag of tricks. That's not a bad name for this episode as well. I don't know. What do you prefer, bad green blood or cat of a bag of tricks? Cats in the bag of tricks.
I think bad green blood.
All right, we'll stick with that. Bad green blood. So anyway,
as much of an overdone trope that it is, I made note that it is a good starting example for what progresses through the rest of the season as Archer's moral downfall. So what Star Trek captain would put somebody in an airlock with the intent of, if I have to go all the way and actually kill this person, if he doesn't give me the information, I'm okay with that at this point.
Right. It's very Janeway, because Janeway did the same thing in Voyager, the season 5-6 cliffhanger, the Equinox, where she, tortured the one crewman and was gonna, let the interspatial alien eat him if he didn't give up his, if that guy didn't give up his captain. So yeah, you're right. And I mean, in Voyager did the, bad captain in a terrible situation and what the hell I would do. Certainly every cliffhanger, and Janeway sailed through it. She always did great. Where Archer, I just don't know. I feel like it was maybe just too much of the same that was kind of dragging. And again, the downfall of the show is that I think the audience was kind of feeling it as well. You had diehards like myself that would never not tune in, and I'll still never not tune in. No matter what they turn out, I'll still be watching. But for people who are just watching it like, oh, it's a new Star Trek, and no, it's the same old Star Trek. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's none the more evident in episode 3. Extinction, directed by LeVar Burton, awesome. Geordie LaForge, Andre Boreamis I believe him and Niran Shankar were the science advisors on Star Trek Next Generation. So you got a real pedigree of great talent makers. September of 2003, while pursuing the Xindi, which is what they're doing the whole time, 3 crew members are exposed to an alien virus and begin to mutate into the Lokek, a long dead alien race. Wow.
Planet of the Apes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Planet of the Apes. Nothing bugged me more than them talking in funny accents, yet still talking in English. Back in the time where, we didn't really have the UT, the Universal Translator. That was Hochi's job. Some real primitive CGI where, Archer breathes in and then you zoom inside his chest and his heart, he did a Grinch. His heart grew 3 times its size. And then he got like an extra lung or like 2 pancreases or something. Like we're supposed to be like, ooh. But, on a TV budget and from the fact that it's 20 years ago, I was like, ugh. It was funny. I actually watched it on a small screen TV because I was here in my studio. I was doing something else, but I'm like, I got to get through these Enterprise episodes. And in a lot of cases, since I've seen them so many times, I'll just background them and then I'm working on other podcast stuff and just listening and looking up when I need to. But I was like, they go through this planet and, T'Pol being that she, because it's, it's Archer, Hoshi, and Malcolm that are down on the planet with T'Pol. And of course, T'Pol is affected, but she not as affected as much, so she can still see and think. But she gets weird little prosthetics on her face. It's just, in some ways, it's kind of a cool sci-fi concept, and the long dead alien race. It's not terribly different in its own way from like the Inner Light from TNG with Picard and, getting zapped by the alien probe and living a 30-year lifespan in 30 minutes and coming away with this little flute and all that stuff. It's the same concept, but this is just corny. I just get like, oh, look at I just couldn't take it. I thought it was bad then. And it certainly has not, the CGI piece of it is not aged well. We had an appearance of we had a guest actor who was someone native to the star system they were in, and he was played by the same dude who was Curtis in a few seasons of 24, which I've mentioned a zillion times as one of my favorite shows from Fox back in the old days. That was the only recognizable face. But yeah, they're in this other race. Once they found out somebody was infected, because they did it to one of their own crew members, they go down to the planet to hunt down our people. And one of their people gets a tear in his EV suit and he gets infected. So they just set him on fire. It's cool. You know what? Yeah. Death by fire. It ain't no thing. So, okay. Other thoughts about the episode? Where'd you land?
Again, really didn't love like the whole, as soon as it came up, I was like, oh my God, it's a really cheesy Planet of the Apes.
Oh my God. And this was right around the same time that Tim Burton remake with Marky Mark came out that ended with, Abraham Lincoln. He shows up to the Lincoln Memorial and my God, holy crap, was that a bad remake of that film? He's no Chuck Heston.
I will say that, again, with the Archer arc, which is hard to say, the Arch with that, like his descent into madness, again, an example of like the blurred morals of the Xindi attacked Earth, and if I have to wipe out the entire race, it's fine. And then
kill it with fire.
Exactly. And then the other, to look at the other species to be like, hey, this infected our people, you have to die now. He's like, oh, well, just hang on just a second. Like,
just a minute.
And the part that actually while I don't like it as like a Star Trek or an Enterprise episode, I love the underlying tone of this is like the third time that on an away mission, T'Pol's had to essentially parent other members.
Oh yeah, and it started real early because they went to the planet where it was like the M. Night Shyamalan thing where the wind was the enemy, and she was like, "All right, you guys, come on, let's all get around the campfire
with each other.
Yeah,
give me the gun.
We'll have some fruit roll-ups, and then you can drink your juice box, and then it's sleepy time."
But then also the aspect of there's like the T'Pol part. Then there's Trip who's left in comm, who's hating every moment of getting dragged around the ship. Like, when are they going to get back home? And then to come back together of like mom and dad of, do you know how your kids were today? Do you know what happened at this house while you were gone?
Yeah.
I love that part.
Yeah. Like dad coming home from work. Oh, I had a terrible day. The train ran over my hat and my boss yelled at me and do you know what's going on around here today? Your son, got kicked out of school, and then your daughter punched another girl and called her a stupid blah, blah, blah. Yeah, exactly.
So
oh my God!
Aspect of it.
Yeah, that was pretty cute. So okay, well, if gratuitous TNA is your thing, I think episode 4 will be a great read. So take it away.
I'm terrible at the name. Is it Regine?
I think it's Regine. Yeah, like Regine.
Yeah. So episode 4, Regine. By Mike Fahar. So October 1st, 2003, a slave girl Archer rescues from an alien bazaar, seeks refuge aboard Enterprise, but betrays the crew. Dun, dun,
I don't know if my audio is good enough for you to hear the eyes rolling back in my head. What a stinker. It was just, the girl's a total, and they do the same plot line in season 4 with 3 Orion girls. Big surprise, because that's the deal. And that was in that episode, you really learned that it's Orions are basically Beyonce. Who runs the world? Girls. Who runs the world? Girls. Well, yeah, in this, she's a Xindi flunky. She has this ability where she can absorb biological data by stroking someone. Oh my God. So she's stroking Archer, and then she's stroking T'Pol. Yeah. Oh my God. This just, Yeah, and yeah, the Alien Bazaar where she's like, well, we can, anything that you would like. It was like I don't know if you're much of a fan of the Rolling Stones, but in the late 60s, they did are you familiar with the Rock and Roll Circus?
Oh, yeah.
The 1 hour, this was very much, Mick Jagger on the Rock and Roll Circus. Oh my God. The Star Trek Circus. I'm not yet. And we're sticking with the episode title, but that could be a runner up. This was a serious stinker. 0 out of 5 stars for me.
Yeah, would not recommend.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I don't even really know what else that you could say. It was
keeping the psych thread, because doing the psychology of Trek season 3 Enterprise is going to be a big chunk of it as far as the information they had. So one thing that stood out to me is when she's having this, I'm going to stroke all the crew members that I can and get their information.
I'm going to stroke them. I'm stroking. That's what I've been doing. That's an old song too.
But when she is doing that with T'Pol, the way that T'Pol has that visceral reaction to her mind meld assault earlier in season 1.
Yeah.
Brought back that this is what's happening. I don't like this, and I have to try and fight it off response.
Quit stroking me.
More so than season 1.
Quit stroking my heart around if it was Stevie Nicks.
But yeah, as far as episodes go,
yeah, this was a 0 out of 5, big thumbs down. All right, well, let's move on. Episode 5 is, what's nice about the season is 24 episodes, so we're 6, 6, 6, and 6. But this is episode 5 of 6, Impulse. David Livingston, again, big name in the series. Screenplay, first piece of work by Terry Matalas, the guy behind Picard. This is where the dude got his start. I think S means showrunner because we have show and we have screenplay. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, this is the first time I've seen Terry Matalas' name on anything. And the teleplay is Jonathan Fernandez, October of 2003. Enterprise encounters a Vulcan ship whose crew has become unstable due to Trillium-D exposure. This was hinted at in the series finale of season 2 with another ship that was sent in to found this ship, turned around and came out, but the crew members had all killed each other. T'Pol soon begins to exhibit the same symptoms while they're running around on this ship. Total horror movie vibe. I mean, this was, and again, this came out in October, so boom, somebody did something right. But yeah, torn up ship, deck plates missing, so they have to jump across or walk on a narrow ledge, and they're trying to escape on the over on the away team. When they find the ship, it's Archer, T'Pol, Reed, and then you have Ensign Ricky. You have one of the Makos. Makos, by the way, we haven't really talked about. It's the Military Strike Command, something or other, operations. Military Assault Command. Their leader is actor Stephen Culp, who I love the show Jag. He was a main recurring character in Jag, whose name I'm going to forget, but he was a DOD guy or something. He was a foil to Harm and Mac, who were the main characters on that show. I don't know. Do you watch? I mean, you like Quantum Leap. Did you watch any of Belisario's other shows?
I did. I wasn't as big into Jag, but I definitely picked up on NCIS when it jumped off.
Yeah, I hear you.
Starting Jag, so
exactly, and ran twice as long as Jag did, isn't it? And it's still running. That's a favorite of.
It's like season 20 something.
My God, yeah, and Jag ran 10. But anyway, this is not the Jag podcast. But maybe we'll get to that. The fact that would make Todd so pissed if we did a Facts of Geek Life about Jag, because he loves to make fun of how much I love that show. But anyway, so yeah, this was a great horror movie thing, a vibe running around, and again, you start to see T'Pol start to go nuts. But at the end of it, of course they're able to escape, but all these Vulcans, they can't really save any of them. References this episode will come back in the second episode next season when they're doing the big debrief of the big mission, because Saval, they're the Vulcan ambassador, Matt, the hell's the actor's name? Who's Saval? You know the guy I'm talking about, is debriefing this, and he says, well, we don't really know what happened there, and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, they do whatever they could, but all these Vulcans, they're too compromised. And when they get T'Pol back to the ship, they're able to stabilize her, but the damage is permanent. And this is something that we're going to see, as you had mentioned in the previous episode. It's going to continue to alter her character and then really put the foot to the pedal with her burgeoning relationship with Trip as she decides to explore certain feelings that are happening in her loinal area, as it were.
But yes, Shatner acting right there. It's going to.
I
explode.
Like the Vulcan nudity that comes after this. So anyway, other thoughts about this one?
This is my psych season for Enterprise. The way that T'Pol's reacting, both when she's on the ship with the other action with the Vulcans, but also we know is because of the effects of the Trillium D. It was such a good analogy for me of she's terrified because she doesn't know how she feels with the exposure to this chemical, but also she's having to fight for her life against her own people. It's like, this is a battle against myself.
Yeah. Allow myself to present myself. I'm Richie Cunningham, and this is my wife, Oprah.
Allow myself to kill myself.
Yes, exactly. I'm killing myself for this. But yeah, it was pretty sweet. I enjoyed that portion of it as well. So, okay. All right. Take us home with, if we could find a weaker episode, if we're like, oh boy, I thought Rajin was really bad, but then we get to episode 6. All yours.
Spoiler alert. Geesh.
Sorry. Did I step on your moment?
No. There's no moment to step on.
There's no moment to step on.
So episode 6, Exile by Roxanne Dawson, Phyllis.
Yay! Blah.
October 15, 2003. It's terrible enough. It's the Beauty and the Beast tale involving Hoshi encountering a potentially helpful telepath on a deserted world. So
you know what? It's somebody went into the writer's room with a checklist of tropes. They went up to a whiteboard. I don't even know if they had whiteboards. Let's say it was a blackboard, and they grabbed the eraser and they just went, or maybe back in those days, I remember corporate boardrooms, they would have those big white flip boards. They would say, okay, tropes, damsel in distress, tortured anti-hero. Come on, give me some. Come on, work with me here. Let's workshop this one. Come on, give me some more tropes.
Beauty and the Beast. We gotta have that monster love story.
Yeah, there you go. Gotcha. So yeah, this was a long-lived alien who can't escape, which was even a Star Trek trope because it came from the original series in season 3, The Requiem for Methuselah, with Flint, the guy who couldn't escape, but he built himself an android because that's something people do. That's what this guy should have done. If he had more brain cells to rub together, he would have built himself a fuckbot, pardon the expression, and then he would have had no problems. Yeah. So he's trying to sweet talk Hoshi because he's a telepath and he's using all this little things to trick her to be like, you really ought to stay. And Enterprise has to conveniently go off in another direction. And she stays there for a couple of days and he's trying to romance her, but he's like, yeah, I've had 5 companions, outlived them all. And here they are in my graveyard. Won't you come back inside and have a drink? Yeah, God, literally, exactly. Hello, Jonestown of Star Trek here. Oh my God.
But this also, I'm trying to woo you into how amazing we could be together after initially contacting you by stalking you and mind fucking you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Don't mind that part. That was not a red flag.
But really, I'm a very nice guy.
Exactly. With a graveyard of exes. That's totally
yes, exactly. And that you don't know how they died. He could have buried those 5 chicks last week. You don't know exactly. They totally died of natural.
They got in there.
Yeah, they totally died of natural causes. One arm sticks up. Help me! Stomp, stomp, stomp. Oh my God. Yeah, it was just like, oh my God.
And again, with Archer getting more and more into the depths of his own ego and his own madness.
Yeah.
It's at what point would you say this is, Hoshi is our communicators, our linguist. We need her in every aspect. Oh, this random dude mind fucked you and wants to hold on to you. Now that's fine. We'll come back in a couple of days. That's fine.
He's got some good information. If you can see, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see my air quotes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's just,
It's again, it goes back to this hard on he has for the Xindi battle of, yes, we have to get the Xindi, and I'm so dead set on it. I've got such bloodlust that I'll take the only person I have for communications, and it's fine. If you die, it's whatever. Just get the information first.
We're all going to die. Yeah, exactly. Could you get that to us? And then we got, collateral damage, whatever. I figured maybe 20, 25%. It was like in Die Hard where the guy there in the helicopter, he says, we take out the rooftop, maybe lose 20% of the hostages. I can deal with that.
Anything less than 20 is totally acceptable.
Exactly. That's a fifth. It's a very small number. All right. Okay. Well, let's wrap up the 6-pack. Let's have a favorite and a least favorite.
I'm going to say favorite is going to be Extinction.
That's your favorite extinction with the Lokek? Really?
It is in this group. I'm
bold.
Again, I really like it. Basically, for the T'Pol having to mom the kids in the park and Trip trying to keep home down when he has no idea how mom actually runs everything, and then coming together of, you don't even know what it's like.
You don't even know.
You don't understand what it's like when you're not here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
that's
God.
Why.
Understood. You know what? That is a unique perspective. I really appreciate that. Cool. All right. And how about a favorite?
That was my favorite.
That was your favorite. How about a least favorite? That's what I meant to say.
Beauty and the Beast, hands down.
Na 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 sucks. It's a bunch of crap. Do do do. I can keep going, but I won't. Oh my God.
Nothing else needs said.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Well, it's tough to punctuate. You know, I'll go least favorite. Rajin was, like I said, 0 stars. Do not recommend. Here's a chick with big hoots, and she's gonna basically molest anyone she touches because she's gathering bio data for a new bioweapon, which is what she was there for. But he rescues her from an alien bazaar, and she's all, "Oh, Captain," she's like, "You're not my property." It's just, oh my God.
I know.
Trope spectacular. And then I loved Impulse. I loved the horror movie vibes, you know, and I loved that this was what I thought of these episodes made the most lasting impact of character development and how T'Pol is fundamentally changed on a biochemistry level. You know, she's less able to suppress those Vulcan emotions now because she's been changed by Trellium. So, all right. Okay. Well, that does it for part 1 of season 3 of Enterprise. So we will return in our next episode to take on another 6 chunky wonky. So Missy, as always, it's a pleasure. Where do people find you out there?
Mostly on Instagram, and it's at mamamerch_33. You can also find me on Twitter. Less active there though. That's at Senora Vaquera.
You're only active when I tag you on something because I'm more active on Twitter. You can find me there at the C3. I shared a meme about the Prodigy cancellation, which got reshared over 200 times. So that's my 15 minutes. I was talking about that on SFU today. But yeah, that's where you can find me. April, my wife and I, along with Missy, run the USS Grand Petoskey. That is one of the largest chapters of Starfleet, the international Star Trek fan club in the world. We are based here in West Michigan, but we have members all over the state of Michigan. I also actually head up Region 13, which is Michigan and Eastern Canada. If you are a Trekker within the sound of my voice and would like to meet other Trekkies in your area, please seek us out at the Grand Petoskey website or socials of the same name, and we will connect you with somebody therein. One last time, I also want to thank Missy included, our awesome Patreons. I did forget to mention, if you visit patreon.com/secretfriendsunite, you are eligible for a free 1-week trial of our programs. Choose any tier level, and then you got 7 days to listen to our awesome shows. As soon as Missy and I get off here, we're actually going to record an episode of The Facts of Geek Life, where we take a classic genre or animation show, we pick a handful of episodes, and then we break it down, some with hilarious results. Todd, who's my partner over on SFU, we do a great show about comics called The Spinner Rack. Mark, our third partner, jumps in with some commentary with his Canardian's Corner, and my wife April and I do quarterly a bad movie review show where we take something classic and just tear it apart. And Kay and Missy have spearheaded our awesome interview program on the Personnel Files, where we talk to folks like Doug Jones, Tara Rosling, and John Billingsley, amongst others. So yeah,
we want to drop in a week or so.
There's a new one. Yep, first part of July. So not that you have to wait, but you know what? Doing it right in July, you're going to hear some cool new content. So, well, all right. Well, with that, I'm going to thank everybody for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring, and to keep on trekking.
And may you always find hope in the stars.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.